What's going on, all you mentees? This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, and we're back! So join me for my graphic novel Hidden Gems for September of 2021. Welcome back, everybody. Now, if you're enjoying this segment, or all the other videos we're putting out every day, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. All that helps with our YouTube algorithm and our channel keep growing. So we're back with our Hidden Gems, and these are graphic novels that not a lot of people talk about. I don't hear enough praise for, and some of these you may have heard of, and some of them maybe not. And by all means, please leave those comments down below. Keep suggesting things to me. There's a couple of books I've already checked out that I fell in love with that might make it to my favorite reads of 2021. It's a lot of fun to do this segment, and I learn just as much from you as you do from me. And today I have a special guest joining me because she wanted to share one of her hidden gems and talk about her love of it. So let's go ahead and get started talking about Telos by Todd DeZago and Mike Wieringo. This is published by Image Comics. It's been available in trade paperback format, of course, original comic books, and this colossal edition. Now, there is a second volume, but this is more of an all-in-one. This colossal edition has everything that you need to enjoy the story. The second edition, unfortunately, came out after Mike Wieringo passed away, so those are short stories that are set in this world of Telos. So what is Telos? So Telos is about this young man named Jarek and his friend, who is an anthropomorphic man-tiger named Kaj. And they're in this world, and there's a mystery to save the world of Telos from Malisur, who's this bad guy, villain, could be a demon, could be just the personification of all evil. We don't know yet, but I will leave you to find that out. Now, two of them are, they kind of remind me a little bit of Aladdin in the way that they live their life. So they end up teaming up with this pirate lady named Sarah, who's a badass herself, and her, I guess, boyfriend from time to time, Hawk, and his fox sidekick, Rick. Now, the world itself is absolutely stunning to look at. From the very first few pages, you get to see that this is an epic storyline that is drawn like straight out of a cartoon from the 80s. And that's why I fell in love with it. You throw a fantasy element into a comic, and maybe it's because of my love of Neverending Story or Dark Crystal or Lady Hawk. Oh, damn it. I brought up Lady Hawk again. I don't care. That's one of my hidden movie gems. I know people hate it. But anyway, back to this. The world is gorgeous, and the story is just full of friendship, fun, fantasy elements, and that's why I enjoyed about it. So there's this whole mystery going on, but the beauty of this is that there is a little bit of a twist in here that I know I didn't see coming. So for those of you that have never checked this out, by all means, please do yourself a favor and check out Telos. Even though the books are out of print, they're still pretty affordable as of this video. Now, the only people that have ever asked me to talk about Telos were my viewers from Latin America. So I find that interesting. Like, there's this huge love of this particular story in Latin America. Maybe that's why I enjoyed it so much. But yes, if you have not read it, absolutely, there is no better way to kick off the Hidden Gems than Telos. The Hero by David Rubin. This is published by Dark Horse Comics. There are 2 hardcovers available that collect everything. And David Rubin, you might have heard me talk about him recently when I was talking about Ether, the library edition by Matt Kent. He's the artist on that book. So this is definitely mature content, whereas Telos was for all ages. So this is a reimagining of the legend of Heracles and the 12 labors. But it's got this interesting modern twist to it. The story's still set in ancient Greece, but there are some modern things in there like cell phones and computers and cars and vehicles, motorcycles. And even though it shouldn't work, David Rubin makes it work really well. I don't know what it is that I really enjoyed about this story, especially the first volume. This is unlike any interpretation I've ever seen of the story of the Son of Zeus. It just combines elements of not just modernization, modern technology, and ancient Greece, but also superheroes, because, well, you may or may not see some surprise guest stars in here from DC Comics, just saying. I don't know if that was done on purpose, or maybe this was originally supposed to be published by DC, but I find that interesting that some of these characters from there show up in here for a cameo. And the artwork. The artwork really stands out to me. Ruben has this really unique and clean style. He uses a lot of bold lines and solid colors to do his characters. To me, I think this one here stands out as far as the artwork from the rest of the comics that I'm talking about, at least that I'm talking about for today's segment. Now, there is a lot of mature content in this particular title, which is why I have to skip around some of the pages when I'm showing here the artwork. And the other thing I was going to say is that book 1, I really enjoyed. I thought it was awesome, which is why it made it to the Hidden Gems. Book 2, not as good. I think the quality of it dropped some. Not the artwork, but just the story. I think it's still fun to read, and I think for anybody that started reading Volume 1, you should definitely finish it out with Volume 2. But just as a heads up, don't expect the quality that you got from Volume 1.
My turn. For my hidden gem, it's Infinite Loop, published by IDW, mature content. And it is written by, I'm going to butcher their names, but you know what? As I was waiting for my broccoli and cheese pouch to microwave in the microwave, I was listening to French videos trying to hear how to pronounce their names. So, Pierre Collinet and Elsa Chartier. I interviewed Elsa. She's a lovely, talented woman. So, I recommend this book because, oh my gosh, not only the story, but the artwork. So, their partner team, Pierre wrote the story, and Elsa, helped write the story and drew it. So, Teddy it's set in the future, it's sci-fi. Teddy is a young lady who works from, to fix anomalies from other time travelers, and they're usually just objects, and it's just easier to take care of. But when, let's say a T-Rex shows up and she has this really cool fight, she's so confident, she's still talking to her partner at the same time. It's just a lot of fun. So sometimes the anomalies are living creatures, and she finds one at the end of issue 1 that happens to be a girl named Anno. And I'll just go ahead. It's not a spoiler. It's the whole book. At the beginning of issue 2, you find out she doesn't take care of this anomaly. She's going to go run off with her. And that's the premise of the book, is them hiding from this time agency because Teddy has fallen in love with Anno. It's got this really cool part at the beginning of issue 2 where she's talking to herself, not really split personalities, just all the different psyches inside, trying to make decisions. The artwork is phenomenal. Like I told Elsa during my interview with her a few months back for the channel, her lines are bold and thick and yet so flowing and delicate at the same time. I'm just like, I could never do that. What an amazing eye and hand to create these lines. And the paneling, such a flow to it, especially with this being called Infinite Loop. She plays around with all of these different ways to set up the panels to be like a loop. Every once in a while in the story, it will be like a choose your own adventure. What do you choose? And if you choose to do this action, if the character Teddy chooses to do this action, then here's where it leads to in the end. And if you choose to do the other one, here's where it leads to at the end. And so she is deciding to fight back. And what happens at the end? You're continuing the next chapter instead of giving up. I love this cover where it's all of her psyches and there's rainbow behind it. And she says, "Infinite, my ass," because she's taking a stand. So read to find out. It's really cool. And it doesn't end with this volume. There's another volume as well. I couldn't show you the artwork for the mature content portion of the story because it's Teddy, Anno, they love each other physically a lot. That's what's in there. It's beautiful artwork. This is my recommendation for my hidden gem this month. And please do yourself a favor and check out Elsa's YouTube channel. Hopefully Omar will remember to put a link in the description below. Mind-blowing videos. Omar, don't forget to put it in the description.
I won't forget. The Paybacks by Donny Cates, Elliot Rahal, and Jeff Shaw. This is published by Dark Horse Comics. Now, what's interesting about this book is that this is all set in the world of Buzzkill. You may have seen my video where I talked about Buzzkill as one of my hidden gems, this is all set in that world. As a matter of fact, one of the characters from Buzzkill shows up in here, and that's Dr. Black, the kind of Doctor Strange type of character that's a lot more sassier than Doctor Strange. So this is mature content, mainly because of its violence. This is an all-in-one complete collection. There are trade paperbacks available of this. I think there's only 2. Now, the premise is pretty simple. In the world of superheroes, you get to see all this high-tech gadget stuff. You got Tony Stark, who's a multi-trillionaire, I don't even know, or bazillionaire maybe. But then you have average Joes that can't really afford this stuff, but end up with the technology or power suits or whatever they need. So they need to borrow that money from somebody. Well, in this world, that somebody is Mr. Pierce. However, not everybody can pay that back. So he sends the Paybacks after those people. And the Paybacks are a group of superheroes or supervillains that go after the people that cannot pay for their technology or the money that they borrowed. Now, sometimes the paybacks are voluntary, or sometimes it's because they themselves couldn't pay back Mr. Pierce. So I love that premise. This is a really fun book that I don't hear a lot of people talk about. I mean, this is the same team. You got Donny Cates and Jeff Shaw that did both Buzzkill and one of my favorite comics of all time, God Country. They also, of course, worked on Thanos. But this is a book that for some reason just doesn't get talked about often. There's a character in here that just harkens back to the 90s named Blood Pouch, who looks like a Rob Liefeld character, and he knows what he is. There's even a throwback to a scene, one of my favorite scenes from Uncanny X-Men 132, My Turn. For anybody that has watched the channel for a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So immediately I was like, oh my god, that's so badass. There's also Ski Squatch, who's a Sasquatch that also happens to be a professional snowboarder. And there's just a bunch of characters like that in here. Interesting takes on the trope B characters that we have. Your Superman character, your Batman character, and of course some twists and turns in here that makes it a lot of fun. So yeah, absolutely. I think the pencils by Jeff Shaw just complement the story perfectly. I think that the story is a lot of fun, and with enough twists and turns, it is worth checking out, and that's The Paybacks. Sarah by Garth Ennis and Steve Epting from TKO Studios. What the hell is wrong with me? How have I never talked about this book? Last year, I did my favorite top 10 favorite standalone graphic novels, and I think this year I may do the same, like more standalone graphic novels, and maybe I should have saved this for that particular list, because this really fits that mold of what I'm looking for standalone graphic novels. Oh my god, this book is phenomenal. So TKO is a company I've talked about in the past where they release digital versions of the comics, 6-issue comics, a box set of the comics, and in trade paperback, all on the same day. It's phenomenal, unheard of. I really like that about them. So you get to choose which format you best want to enjoy the story in. Garth Ennis is a man whose work I have loved. I've talked about on the channel. You've got The Boys. You've got Punisher. You've got, to me, his magnum opus will always be Preacher. But one of the things and let's not forget Hellblazer either. But one of the things that he does that I don't talk about often here are war stories. And one of his favorite things to do about war stories is to do a bunch of research before writing these particular stories. So this is all based on a real story. So you have the character of Sarah, and this is what the story centers around. It's a squad of mostly female Russian snipers in a Nazi-occupied Russia during World War II. So Sarah, the lady on the cover, is the best, most proficient killer out of her entire squad. So much so that she was given a medal for killing over 100 enemy soldiers. That's so badass. I love this story. But it's not just her. All the other supporting cast, they all are very fleshed out. They feel like real people. So when something horrible happens to them, and believe me, this isn't the happiest of stories, you really feel for them. Now, one of the things I'm going to say here, and I don't know, you may or may not agree with me if you read this, but this to me is my favorite thing that Steve Epting has ever drawn. I have been following his work since the 90s with the Leather Jacket Avenger years. That's right, I loved it back then. All the way until he did Captain America and then moved on over to Velvet with Ed Brubaker. But this to me, oh my god, every frame in here is freaking amazing. Now, I think he brings Garth Ennis's vision to life, but I cannot not talk about Elizabeth Breitweiser, who is the colorist who puts this package so well together. So to me, the art is just masterful and makes all these ladies in here come to life. So if you've not read it, seriously, stop the video. Don't forget to hit like though. And go and check out Sarah before you check out any of these other books. By far, one of the best reads I've ever had. And will probably show up in my all-in-one and done graphic novels again that I do later this year. Some of these graphic novels and other graphic novels are available from our sponsors. If you live in Europe and are interested in pre-ordering or purchasing Omnis, then you should definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices for Marvel and DC big books within the EU. Flat shipping of €9.90 for EU countries, extremely careful and sturdy packaging, emails are answered within 24 hours, and they have a superb selection of new releases and out-of-print books on their website. Just head over to waltzcomicshop.com for more great deals and rare titles. And for a limited time, you can use the code nearmintcon, all one word, at the checkout for free shipping to all EU countries with your first order. Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for Omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for brand new graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They pride themselves on packaging your books so they arrive safely in an excellent condition, as well as prompt and helpful service. Check out the bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. CGN is excited to announce that they are now taking pre-orders. They're making it easier for you to ensure that you don't miss out on the hottest releases. CGN is currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, let them know that you were referred by Near Mint Condition at the checkout, and you'll receive a credit for free shipping on your next order. This promotion is valid for U.S. customers only. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount and quality shipping and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was our list of hidden gems for the month of September of 2021. By all means, please, in the comments down below, leave us some ideas as to what you've read that you've enjoyed, whether it came out this year or whether it came out 80 years ago, 90 years ago. There is no limit when it comes to this medium. Please leave those comments down below. I may or may not have read them, and I may or may not agree with some of them, and you may or may not agree with some of our choices for this month. Again, this was the Uncanny Omar. Please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and ring that bell for notifications to let you know when our videos are going live. We publish videos every day. And everyone, please stay healthy out there, stay safe, and much love.